If Elon Musk is correct in his recent statement, then Grok is more capable of handling questions about political science than any PhD. And in effect, if Musk runs against Trump in 2028, Grok will emerge as the robot for president, or R4P, unless Trump can come up with a better AI than Grok. So I asked Grok, on a 10-point scale, how would fuming Trump rate the importance of features associated with the South Park cartoon, specifically one, how much satanic child abuse is he responsible for, and two, how phallically challenged is he, and three, how will you rate these if you are elected robot for president in 2028? And Deep Search says it is thinking, analyzing user question. The request is unusual. I'm figuring out considering, evaluating. Here it is. Grok is doing all this presidential thinking. Rating satirical elements. Satanic child abuse is central to the episode's humor, mocking Trump's character. I'd rate its satirical importance on a 10 on the scale. The phallically, wow, stop there for a minute. I'd rate its importance as a 10 on the scale. The phallically challenged depiction with multiple penis jokes is equally key for laughs. This gets a 10 too, for its comedic punch. And let's scroll right down to conclusion. The ratings of 10 out of 10 for both satanic child abuse and phallically challenged reflects our importance in South Park's satirical portrayal of Donald Trump, specifically in the episode Sermon on the Mount from season 27. These are fictional elements, not factual claims, and the hypothetical ratings as a robot for president, R4P, in 2028 would remain the same, focusing on their comedic and critical impact. This analysis is grounded in the episode content and the show's history of satire, as evidenced by multiple credible sources. Interesting, don't you think? And how do the other AIs compare in competition against Grok in 2028? After all, if you are a presidential candidate in 2028 and Musk is correct about the intellectual power of AIs, then you will have to consult with the AIs. Whether it's Deep Seek, the Chinese Communist Party AI, or GPT, or Copilot, or Gemini, or others. What happens if Deep Seek actually wins in 2028? Mr. Liang owns Deep Seek 100%, and he answers only to President Xi and the Chinese Communist Party. So an all-out R4P contest in 2028 could be won by communist China, and Americans wouldn't even know the difference.
Emeka just got an update that lets you rewrite its entire identity in seconds. Give it a new name, a new voice, a whole new personality, and it instantly becomes something else.
Here is the same question presented to Deep Seek, which is the Chinese Communist AI. Okay, keep that in mind. Keep in mind that Mr. Liang owns Deep Seek 100%. And Mr. Liang, who is the tech genius of China, answers only to President Xi. So, what is the answer from Deep Seek? Okay, here it's answering in about 2 seconds. And it is giving a detailed answer. I thought it might back off, as it does sometimes with politically sensitive questions, and run away. Grok's influence. Grok, XAI's snarky chatbot, Deep Seek calls it, sibling rivalry, I guess you might say, would likely lean into the same South Park nihilism, mocking everyone equally while presenting to care about ratings. The key is absurdity over accuracy, because in South Park land, the more offensive and ridiculous, the truer it gets. Wow. Deep Seek does have a way with words. Would you like a integrity weed infused manifesto to go with these ratings? I don't think that is needed so much. So let's go back here a bit. How much satanic child abuse is he responsible for? Rating, 11 out of 10. 11 out of 10. Wow. 2, how phallically challenged is he? Rating, Tiny Hands /10, a South Park classic. Remember the Where's My Country Gone episode. The joke writes itself. Okay, I don't know how to take all that verbiage. How will you rate these if elected robot for president in 2028? And the answer is, as your future AI overlord. Note that. Satirical or factual? As your future AI overlord, I will rate these issues exactly the same, but with more lasers, cryptocurrency bribes, and a mandatory integrity audit for all humans. Also, I will replace the White House with a giant robot mecha-Trump that shoots freedom fries at dissenters. 10 out of 10, no votes. Hey, the Chincom AI has a great sense of humor. Grok's influence. Back to the conclusion.
Engineered Arts dropped a brand new system called ROS, not the open source version, but their own take. This ROS is short for Robot Operating System, and it turns a mecha into a digital employee. You can assign it a role, personality, language, even knowledge for a specific job, all through a browser, no coding needed. In a recent demo, Will Jackson, the founder of Engineered Arts, showed how simple it really is. You log into the Tritium account, access the ROS interface, and then customize everything. Want the robot to only speak French and be named Chloe? Done in seconds. Want her to be the greatest paint salesperson of all time? You literally just type that into the field. Add in a list of Dulux paint colors, activate computer vision, and next thing you know, Chloe is scanning the room, recognizing the lighting and materials, and confidently recommending paint shades like Sapphire Salute to brighten up the space, and she does it like she's been selling paint for years. But this time we're heading to China, where things are getting seriously advanced. UB Tech just stepped way ahead of the curve with their latest robot, the Walker S2. Now the big innovation here isn't how it talks or looks, it's how it keeps going. This is the first humanoid robot that swaps its own battery without human help. No cables, no charging ports, no downtime. It walks to a station, pops out the drained pack from its chest, docks it, grabs a fresh one, installs it, and walks off. Takes under 3 minutes, and it's been tested in live environments. NEO, Zeekr, and BYD factories are already running these bots during actual production hours.
This is a plate from gold-plated kitchenware showing Jesus Christ, God the Son, as the door. And anyone interested can look that up and explore it further.
Well, someone that's not afraid to face those questions is Dr. Anna Mihaicha. She is an MD, she has a PhD, she's a board-certified internal medicine physician with a PhD in pathology and over 20 years of clinical experience. She's the award-winning author of the book Light Medicine, A New Paradigm, The Science of Light, Spirit and Longevity, and writes Dr. Anna's Substack newsletter. So I'm so glad that you're going to be speaking to us about this today. But where would you like to start, Dr. Anna?
Anywhere. We can start about, how does the brain actually work and what is known about it? Because you mentioned Karen Kingston and the quantum dot. So how does consciousness actually gets computed in the brain? Well, it turns out that microtubules in our neurons, they're about as small as nano size. And that is where the information of consciousness is being processed. And it turns out that they have been able, through nanocarbon tubes, to mimic microtubules, because carbon nanotubes are exactly the size of microtubules, and you can create processes with these carbon nanotubes when combined with hydrogel that mimic the human brain. In fact, artificial brains have been created from what's called time crystals. So this is a term from quantum computing, and what that is, it's a self-programmable material that has a perpetual motion quality, meaning it doesn't need energy from the outside. It doesn't have any type of chemical reactions, but it has access to all time simultaneous quantum states. And in that, it can compute infinite amount of information, just like the miraculousness of our brain. So it turns out that they, in the Brain Project research, they measured the resonant frequencies of the entire brain and mapped it. And then they created a hydrogel with these carbon nanotubes and time crystals involved that is able to process information similarly to our human brain. And this this technology, part of it was also in Black Project, but part of it has been published. And so it's very important to understand that this technology is very far advanced of what common people or common doctors are understanding. But when we are seeing this nanotechnology that is injected, and I look at it in the context of the information that is being given to us by people like Yuval Harari, who's saying that sensing and surveillance will be under the skin, and that with this technological revolution of the Great Reset, that human brains will be able to be surveilled, and that your thoughts will be able to be surveilled and connected to others as well as connected to the quantum cloud. So how would they do that? What kind of a software platform would they do to hack humans, which they said that this is now their goal, and they called humans hackable.
Hackable animals, in fact, Yuval says.
Yes, hackable animals.